Hey there, Absolutely Gospel music fans and listeners and readers and everybody in between. We are so glad that you could join us here today as we talk with the Chuck Wagon Gang. How are you guys doing today?
Doing
Good.
well. Good.
Wonderful.
Awesome. So we are here. Of course, we're going to talk about this new record that you guys just put out, and we're super excited about it. It sounds great. Everybody sounds fantastic on it, and it really holds on to that Chuck Wagon Gang sound, and but also kind of stretches you guys a little bit too. That I like to hear a little bit of that as well. But first of all, let's introduce everybody here, and why don't you guys go around and introduce yourself and say who you are with the group and what your role is.
Go ahead, Mom.
Oh, okay. I'll do that. I'm Shay Smith, and I sing alto, and I guess I'm the group manager, and kind of holding the torch right now, and doing that with a lot of feeling of honor, and getting to be the one kind of carrying it along right now.
Great, Josh.
I'm Josh Garner. I don't know if you can hear me from outer space or not. I'll speak up. And I didn't know if this was a formal or informal interview, so I wore my tuxedo T-shirt. I believe they call it a Canadian tuxedo. Is that right?
I'm proud of that, Josh. You look great.
Well,
Yeah.
I always want to do my best to represent, this legacy group. And so
Great.
I'm the right and left hand. Shay steers, but she uses my hands to do it. So I'm the guy that does everything she doesn't want to. Oh yeah, and
You sing for the group too.
yeah,
He does sing just a little bit. He throws a
right.
little musicality in there, in the mix.
I threw that in, but you couldn't hear me over her talking. That's normally what happens.
This is the way it's going to be, Chris. So just you'll have to
Yes.
kind of edit as you see fit.
No, listen. I like I said before we started, I have known Josh since I was a teenager, and that's spanned over 2 decades now. So I'm used to this. So it's
He
all good.
still like my singing.
No, I think Josh Gardner is one of the finest singers in this business, and I will say that hands down. So you heard it here first, Josh.
Don't tell him too much now. Don't just don't encourage him too much. Yeah.
Say it again.
I won't say it again. You only get once.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, and Cody, introduce yourself.
Yes, I'm Cody Shaneyfelt, and I play the bass for the group, and I am the quiet one, the one that hardly don't ever say anything very much, and a lot of the fans don't even know that I can talk, and it surprises them when I do. I'm the mute bass player, and so I just show up where I need to show up and pick that big bass up, and every once in a while Josh will say something instigated enough to get it out of me, but other than that, but it's good to be with you.
Great, awesome. So Shay, why don't you give us a little bit of background? I know if you're a Southern Gospel fan, you know the Chuck Wagon Gang, right? But for those who might be new fans and might not know or be as familiar with the history, can you give us a little bit of history on the group?
Sure. Goodness, there's a lot of very rich history going back to the late 1920s. We were with the Blackwood brothers a couple of weeks ago, and Billy and I were talking about just the history of his family, the history of my family. I think the Blackwood brothers precede us by a few years as far as being the first group, if you will, that's still singing today, that started late 20s, early 30s. But my family was out in West Texas and Depression years, mid 30s, and they were itinerant field hands out in West Texas, and they just travel around, find work to pick fields wherever they could at the time. And actually my grandmother contracted pneumonia. They were out of work and out of money, and so her father, who is the founder of the Chuck Wagon Gang, Dad Carter, he went to a radio station out in Lubbock, Texas, and he and their oldest daughter Rose and oldest son Jim got a job on the radio there in Lubbock as a trio singing on the radio. And they got enough money to go back and get a doctor for my grandma. And when she was well, she joined, and they created the Carter Quartet in Lubbock. And then about 1935, Dad Carter moved the family to Texas, and Wake up, Josh. Josh, wake
So-
up. Thank you.
Sorry.
See, he's heard this story so many times,
I
Chris,
know.
he fell asleep. So I'll forgive him, Josh. That's one.
Listen,
Sorry.
Anyway, so
she
so
said
they
it was a
moved,
rich.
They moved.
She said it was a rich history. Okay, so just buckle in, Josh. All right.
Thank you, Josh. Get you some coffee, man. Drink some coffee. Thank you. So then they moved to Fort Worth about 1936. Got on WBAP radio, and that's kind of where it all started for them. But to say the background, they were singing long before they got on the radio. They just loved harmony and loved to sing together as a family. There were 9 kids, and they're on WBAP. They got on Columbia Records in 1946, and then started doing all the recording. The Church of Wildwood and all that kind of stuff. And they were there for 20 years on the radio, and then got on the road about 1950 so, and here we are today, 80 something years later.
Wow, that's incredible. And of course, you're like you said, you are connected, of course, to the actual originals. So I know that you're very, very honored, I'm sure, to continue on that legacy. And so that's awesome.
It's a very large pair of shoes to step into, but I think we're doing what they would expect. Even my grandmother said to me one time, you can't keep singing Echoes in the Burning Bush forever. You have to give them something new. And that's an original member telling me that.
Sure.
And talking about this new record, that's what we've done. We've taken something new and mixed it with some of the old stuff. So I think that we're doing what they would expect us to do. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. So let's talk about the new record a little bit. And some of you guys, the other guys can speak as well into this. Let's talk about it. It's brand new. Just came out with Crossroads. Tell us a little bit about the new record.
You guys want to say something first, and I'll be quiet for a minute?
I got a good Candy Crush game going. Go ahead.
Chris, this is constant. This is like it never ends. So I see what kind of in a minute he'll catch on and jump in with something earth moving and say something amazing. But the new record,
Happy.
Whenever we were talking to the label, Chris, can you mute Josh Garner?
Yeah, I might have to. I might mute him. Yeah, here a little bit.
When the label came to us, they wanted us to do something a little different. They did not want more re-records of old Chuck Wagon songs. And, Greg Bentley specifically said, let's keep away from re-records. And so we started looking for new material, which we found. Of the 10 songs on the record, I think 6 of them are brand new songs.
Wow.
And then the other 4 are somewhat familiar, and then just going way back into the 20s with the Browns Ferry 4. But we did 10 songs we've never done before. And it's a nice mixture of old stuff, and even some of the new songs sound old. They're very Chuck Wagon style. But then a couple of them are completely not Chuck Wagon Gang. So yeah, like you said, we kind of stretched ourselves.
Yeah, that's the one thing that I noticed when I listened to the record, but also the guy who did the review on our site, which went live today. That was one thing that he made sure to make note of, that this is a stretch for the Chuck Wagon Gang, but it's a great stretch. It works for you guys. And I know you wrote some on the record as well, right, Shay?
Just one song. I co-wrote one of the songs. Yeah, it was
awesome.
Something new for me.
Josh, what are your thoughts on the record?
Well, I'll say this, since you mentioned it, I did read the review earlier. Been talking to Shane a little bit about it over the last couple of days, and lovely review. Appreciate everything he said. Did a great job, Shane Sparks. But there was one thing as I was reading, when I first read it, I thought, and it was something to the effect of, it is what you would expect from the Chuck Wagon Gang, something to that effect. But then I thought, no, wait a minute, that's exactly what we want to do. We don't want to alienate the audience that has brought us to the dance for almost 90 years. And yes, there are a lot of new songs, but my goodness, I'll Fly Away was a new song at one point. We've got to keep putting out good music, good new music. And that's one thing. And I'll just speak bluntly. I've had this conversation with some of the members of the gang. I said, look, those folks then, they're gone. we are the Chuck Wagon Gang now. So yes, we're going to honor what they did, but we've got to continue to give the people great new songs so we can have another I'll Fly Away or another Echoes from the Burning Bush. So that's why I'm excited about the album with the new fresh material. And yes, it sounds very, as we say, Chucky. So, you know, our fans call themselves Chuckies, and we wear that as a badge of honor. And I think so far it's been unanimous. They love what we've put out. Those that have heard it already, and those that are continuing to get it, because it just did come out officially. I guess June 30th. So the folks that are hearing it when they buy it in concert or online, we're just getting amazing comments from them on Facebook and other forms of social media and whatnot. So I think it's a home run, being able to provide new songs that still cater to our audience. And hopefully, as we're seeing along the way, we're building new audiences everywhere we go. So that's really exciting too, to have something this, I'll just go ahead and say it, old fashioned. For something so old fashioned to sort of be in vogue again is quite refreshing. And we're seeing younger people. My kids, I've got a 9 and a 4-year-old, they love this music. They want to listen to it and sing it all day long. And as much as I hate to admit it, you know, their favorite song is the new single, I Will Not Cry Today. I only hate to admit it because it features Shay and not me. But they do. We were in the car today. I took them to dance class tonight, and that's what they wanted to hear. So this music's appealing to a wide audience.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And I think, you know, there's something to be said of somebody who could just rest on their laurels, you know, and do what you've always done. But to want to stretch yourself musically is, you know, something that should be applauded. Not that you have to stretch yourself so much that you're unrecognizable, but that allows you to do some new stuff, but also it's still being embraced by your current fan base. So I applaud you for it. And all that to say, I love I Will Not Cry Today as well. We, you know, Absolutely Gospel launched an online radio station about 6 weeks ago, and that's in regular rotation for us. And it really plays well along all the different, you know, the different groups that we play. So, you know, it doesn't have that super traditional sound that fits right, you know, right alongside. It can be played next to a single by The Sound as well as Greater Vision, and it sounds great. So,
who are that?
Yeah, who's that? Never heard of them. All right.
Hey, Chris, let me just add something into what Josh was saying. He's talking about the tradition and the, you know, and fulfilling what the fans expect. Going back to the statement that I shared with you that my grandmother told me years ago about, you can't just keep doing it, otherwise you can't be a cover band forever. And so we've had folks ask us, you know, where did the strum come from? Why did they start with the strum? And that's our signature thing is the strum. I hear the strum and I know who it is. And we've latched onto that. But I think as a singer and a musician, when I think about the strum and then I put it up against who my family was, and of those 9 kids, they all had the most incredible ear for harmony. They could sing any part, anytime, just bam, sing alto, okay, sing tenor, okay. I mean, just incredible ability to hear and sing harmony. And so I think the strum gave them their note and off they went on the harmony. And so I think a lot of our new songs on this record, I Will Not Cry Today, but even Josh's song, For What Earthly Reason, and I think the song that Melissa does, Heavenly Game, all of them, the harmonies are coming through. And I think that as much as the strum is our signature, I think the Chuck Wagon Gang's ability to sing those beautiful harmonies is as much part of who we are. And the songs we have now have such strong harmonies. I think it lends itself to our style, even if it's not exactly like what you might expect from Church in the Wildwood or I'll Fly Away. You still get those rich harmonies that are really strong driving the songs.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. So I know reading on the bio, but I had not known this about you, Che. In particular, was that you have a couple degrees in music. In particular, you were classically trained as a vocalist. Is that correct?
Yeah, I spent longer in college than I would probably be comfortable telling you. But I studied enough voice to know what not to do,
Sure.
and to try to make my voice fit what we do. When I first started, Roy would often tell me, my Uncle Roy, who was Anna's youngest brother, and any Chuck fan will know Roy, but he would tell me, country it up. You got to country it up. And so I really appreciate that guidance he gave me. And but I think what I take more from my school years, because then I went in and studied conducting and just studying music and chords, is just is being able to understand how the harmonies work. But even then, you never quite quit learning. You know, this song we did, Josh's For What Earthly Reason, there was a couple of chords I just couldn't get in my head. You know, we're practicing, and Josh is singing his lead line, and he'll go, he'll sing my note for me because I couldn't get the note. He's like, "What's wrong with you? The note is this." So, you know, you never quit learning. You never quit learning. I love harmonies, and the folks that I'm working with now, all of them understand harmony so well, and it's a joy to get to sing every week. It really is, because it's just enjoying music and enjoying the lyrics as well.
Right. Well, what's next? I know you guys just released this record, so it's not like you're going in the studio right now. But what's next? What's currently next for the Chuck Wagon Gang?
I think we keep singing these new songs. There's a lot of folks that haven't heard them. Trying to, you know, let folks hear us doing some newer stuff, and continuing to stretch out to those people. And I think the response we've gotten so far is, as Josh mentioned a minute ago, people are loving this new CD. I mean, it was kind of a gamble, you know, and we did it, and it's a bit of a gamble, but so far the response has been very positive. I think to look for more newer music that we can do in a Chuck Wagon style is a good goal anyway.
Great.
Plus, we're adding a drummer, so that's exciting.
Oh, wait, and don't forget about the smoke machine,
Smoke
right? Wasn't
machine,
there a
yeah.
smoke
lights.
machine, Cody? Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, we've been working on a praise and worship album for the last 2 years, so that's right
Listen,
up your.
Listen, I think you guys could probably do a pretty great worship record. If, you know, it's set in a nice acoustic style. I think it could work for
Yeah.
you guys. Don't
There's-
knock it till you try it, Josh. You know.
You know what's really funny, because me coming to this group was quite a shock to everybody,
Yeah.
including myself, just because I come from such a strong male quartet background. And to be quite honest, when I was younger, I thought the Chuck Wagon Gang was a joke, man. I said, look at them 4 people up there with the guitar and singing
Thank you,
them.
Josh.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm blunt to a fault, but as I can, and it happened through the Gospel Jubilee cruise that we've done for several years. I emceed every one of the cruises, and Chuck's were always on it. I came to appreciate them as people, and then I really started listening to the music, and I finally got it. I understood the simplicity of what they do and how profound it is, and how they depend on the music to do all the talking for them. And that's really strong. And I say that because I want to add to the new audiences that we're finding. What's really interesting is we do this, the radio program portion of our concerts. We have an old timey microphone stand, and we pretend we're on the radio back in the 30s or 40s, whatever. And we do the classic songs. And the new audience that had never been to a Chuck Wagon Gang concert before, they come up and just overwhelmingly say, that's brilliant. That is incredible. We love what you're doing with that. On one hand, I think, okay, but what about the new stuff we're doing? Did you like that as well? And they always follow with, and these new songs are fantastic, you know. So we're really striking on all cylinders right now. And I believe it's because this current lineup, just in my humble opinion, it's 4 greatest voices combined that the Chucks have ever had. And I'll go ahead and pat myself on the back saying that. But, in all seriousness, though, I think the talent level of the group has never been better, and we just are able to get together on stage and make some musical magic every once in a while. It's really nice. And big departure for me, but man, I'm loving it. It's been a godsend for me, and hopefully I've contributed to the group. Whereas, you know, before I came along, they sang great, but my Lord, they were boring. So I've added a little entertainment value that I was scared about their fans in the beginning, but they all came to me, and I mean, probably every one of them, all 640 million Chuck Wagon Gang fans in the world, have come to me personally and said, "Thank you. Oh, they needed that." So, no, it's been a great mix, and I think, and I should say, I thank Shane for pointing that out as well in his review, just how complimentary he was on the individual vocalists, because we make some pretty good music together. I'll have to say that.
And I'll echo that sentiment. Of course, Josh knows I was not a Southern gospel fan when I came into this, but have grown to love and appreciate so much about this industry. But when I first heard the Chuck Wagon Gang, I would agree with Josh. I thought it was very simple, and it wasn't my cup of tea. But one thing I could always say was that the lyrical content of what the Chuck Wagon Gang sang was always far and above anything else that was being put out there, and it was just you let the like Josh said, you let the word speak. You let that do the business. And so that's what I always appreciated. So I'll close out with one question. It's one I've ended every interview I've done with for the last 25 plus years. And it's just a simple question of just, what is God teaching you guys lately?
I think it would definitely be to trust the direction he's pointing us. Because like I said, when Crossroads said, "Hey, we don't want any re-records. We want some new, fresh material, but we want you to do it like the Chuck Wagon Gang," that was a daunting task. And we haven't mentioned Jeremy Stevens yet. He was our producer. Jeremy played guitar, sang bass for us. Jeremy is an amazing musician, and he came in and produced the record. I was a little unsure at first how it was all going to turn out, but he just absolutely did a phenomenal job. And he took these newer songs, and Jeremy plays a lot of the guitar on the record. And I think he was able to meld the two together in a way that it's almost seamless. And so I think as we went through that process and we've seen the ultimate result, I just feel like the Lord has been saying, you have to trust the direction I'm pushing you. Don't try to go in any one direction too fast. Just slowly, methodically trust me and take one step at a time as you slowly stretch into something a little more than you've been in the past, maybe, which is a bit uncomfortable, but I believe that it's, obviously paying off, just to continue to trust where he's leading us.
Wow, that's great. That's great. Well, listen, we're not going to keep you guys.
Wait.
You got something to say? This is the spiritual question, though, Josh. So
I know.
Oh, okay. All right. Just want to make sure.
She doesn't speak for everybody all the time.
All right. Hey.
Oh, yeah?
Well, yeah. Thanks, Frank. Inside joke there. My for me, it's always been be still and know that I'm God, because I can get anxious sometimes. I don't worry a lot, but I get sometimes anxious. And when this came along, it came out of nowhere for me, really, because I thought I was done traveling and singing. And this has been the perfect opportunity, and it happened at the perfect time, right at the tail end of all the COVID nonsense. And I needed this. I needed this to scratch the itch of singing, but also to reaffirm that, I was meant to do this, even though it's not on the larger scale like I'm used to. We don't travel nearly as much as the old groups I was with, which is nice because I still have a day job and I'm home every night. And it just took, being still and just waiting for God to open the door. He's provided every need I've ever had, and I've never had to beg or whine and complain. It's just always happened. And I'm so thankful for that, just to be still and know that I'm God. Or as my wife paraphrases, shut up and take the money. So there you go.
I think this is one thing. I think this is one thing that's worthy to be said, especially about the record, the new record, and what we do. Is there's a scripture in the Bible, and I'm a minister, so this is a pet peeve of mine. I really harp on this a lot. There's a scripture that talks about truth has fallen in the streets. And one of the things that you'll love about this album, and that I love about this album, the songs we do it now, is that they are theologically sound. They're biblically sound. They've got powerful biblical words to them. They got meaning. They got a message that you can see it affecting the people in the congregation night after night when we stand on that stage, tears rolling down their face. Yeah, you know, obviously the Spirit of the Lord touching their lives through the lyrics and the message in the song. And that's important to me because we've got enough stuff out there that's as far away from biblically sound as it can be that really don't do a thing in the world for anybody, but except entertain and tickle the ears or so forth and so on. But if we're going to do anything for the Lord, we got to have something that's got a powerful message that'll speak to their heart and change their life. And that's what it's really all about.
That's great. That's great.
He doesn't say much, but when he does, it counts.
That's right. He just spits it out, and it's a golden nugget of truth, right? So
Good. He's a good man. We're glad to have him.
That's awesome. Well, hey, where can everybody find you online? Where can they check out the Chuck Wagon Gang?
We're online right now. Just turn on your computer.
Like right here, right?
Yeah.
ChuckWagonGang.net. And of course, Facebook, Twitter, all that's out there as well. Yep.
You guys they can buy your record on your website. They can stream it as well. All of that.
Don't stream it. Buy it from us.
Well, that's what I was gonna. If you let me finish, Josh, I was gonna say if they're streamers like me, the way they can support you though is still go to your concert, give in the offering, buy a T-shirt or a hat or whatever you got on the table, right? That is what's going to support this ministry. Now, see, Josh.
Oh.
Now you see. Let me finish what I'm going to say. Okay.
I apologize.
Thank you. Thank you. There you go.
No, as in all seriousness, we ask that you go support Chuck Wagon Gang in whatever way you can. And so, that's the big thing is that we support the ministries that God has put on this earth, and we do it faithfully. So, again, I'm so glad that you guys joined me today. It's always a treat to talk to anybody and to promote the gospel music. So, thank you guys so much, and to all of our absolutely gospel readers and fans, we will see you next time.
All right, Chris. Thank you.